certain symbols that seem to follow humanity throughout history, not because they belong to one person or one nation, but because they represent an idea. One of those symbols is the umbrella. Now, most people see an umbrella and think of rain, but if you look closely at mythology, banking, monarchy, entertainment, corporations, and even modern day finance, the umbrella appears over and over again. And every time it appears, it seems connected to the same question.
Super duper fly. Me, I'm super fly. Super duper fly. Super duper fly. Me, I'm super fly. Super duper fly. Super duper fly.
Who protects the structure when the storm arrives? Today we're going to follow the umbrella from Mary Poppins to Barbados, from Queen Elizabeth to Rihanna, from the Knights Templar to Wall Street, and from the Dow Jones to Jay-Z. The deeper you go, the less the umbrella looks like an object, and the more it begins to look like a system. Let's begin with one of the most recognizable umbrella figures in modern culture, Mary Poppins, a mysterious woman who arrives from the sky carrying an umbrella. She enters a household in crisis, she restores order, repairs relationships, protects the children, and then disappears. Most people remember the magic, the songs, the chimney sweeps, the flying umbrella. But hidden beneath the surface is a detail that changes everything. Mary Poppins works for the Banks family. Not the Smiths or the Jones, but the Banks, and the father, George Banks, works at a bank. That's not an insignificant detail. The entire story revolves around a household connected to the banking system: money, savings, responsibility, institutional trust, financial order. Then Mary Poppins arrives carrying an umbrella, a symbol of protection, shelter, and stability during uncertain conditions. Suddenly, the umbrella is no longer protecting people from the weather, it's protecting a family connected to banking. The symbolism deepens when we remember who portrayed the original Mary Poppins: Julie Andrews. More specifically, Dame Julie Andrews. The title Dame is one of the highest honors bestowed within the British honor system, a title connected directly to the crown. So, the most famous umbrella figure in modern entertainment is portrayed by a woman formally connected to the traditions of the British monarchy. Already we can see three institutions beginning to overlap: the umbrella, the bank, and the crown. Now, at first they may seem unrelated, but the deeper we go, the more they begin speaking the symbolic language. Now, let's travel to Barbados. For most of Rihanna's life, Barbados existed beneath the constitutional framework of the British monarchy. Queen Elizabeth II was officially the Queen of Barbados. But many people can forget this. Until 2021, Barbados was a constitutional monarchy with the British sovereign serving as the head of state. Then something changed. Barbados became a republic. The symbolic umbrella of the crown was removed, and almost immediately afterward, Rihanna was declared a national hero of Barbados. A woman whose signature global hit, that's called Umbrella, becomes one of the highest honored figures in a nation that had just stepped out from under the umbrella of the monarchy. Now, whether this was intentional or not, the symbolism is remarkable. The island, once protected by the crown, elevates one of its own daughters into a national symbol. The protected becomes the protector. The citizen becomes the institution. Now, let's return to her song Umbrella. Now, most people remember Rihanna's chorus, "You Can Stand Under My Umbrella," but before Rihanna sings a single word, it's Jay-Z who opens the record. And his first verse is filled with financial language. He says, "No clouds in my stones, let it rain, I hydroplane in the bank. Coming down with the Dow Jones, when the clouds come, we gone, we Rockefeller." Now, listen to the lyrics really carefully. We have the bank, the Dow Jones, rainy day funds, financial preparation, capital reserves, protection against uncertainty. This is not just weather imagery, it's economic imagery, the language of finance wrapped inside the language of the storm. The umbrella becomes more than romance, it becomes a symbol of financial shelter, a structure built to withstand volatility. Now, the Dow Jones is one of the most recognized financial indicators on earth, a symbol of Wall Street, a symbol of capital markets, and American finance. And Wall Street itself functions like an umbrella. Thousands of companies, hundreds of institutions, countless investments, all operating beneath the larger financial structures of banks, brokerages, holding companies, investment firms. One canopy and many operations. The language is so common that business itself uses the term umbrella corporation. An umbrella corporation exists to oversee multiple entities beneath a single structure. One roof, many branches, protection from above. The metaphor is built directly into corporate language. Now, this is where another layer enters into the story because Jay-Z was head of Rockefeller Records, and immediately people think about Rockefeller. Historically, Rockefeller Records was not named after John D. Rockefeller, but symbolically, you can see why the parallels are drawn here, because Rockefeller became synonymous with something much larger than one man: oil, industry, banking, and institutional wealth and legacy building. John D. Rockefeller's empire helped shape the architecture of modern American capitalism. His influence touched finance, philanthropy, banking, education, and corporate organization. Jay-Z built a different kind of empire, not through oil or culture, but through music, branding, and influence. Now, both stories have the same principle: building structures that survive beyond the founder, creating institutions, systems, and umbrellas. Now, if you've ever seen the film Resident Evil, there is also an umbrella corporation there. And this is going to connect us back to the Knights Templar. Before Wall Street, before central banks, and before modern day corporations, there was the Knights Templar. Now, most people know them as warriors, but historically they became associated with some of the earliest banking systems in Europe. Pilgrims traveling long distance could deposit assets in one location and retrieve value elsewhere through trusted networks. Instead of carrying gold through dangerous territories, they relied on institutional protection, trust, security, guardianship, and protection. In many ways, the Templars created an early financial umbrella, a network that sheltered people and assets across vast distances. Let's think about what an umbrella does. It creates a protected zone, a safe zone, a temporary kingdom beneath its canopy. The Templars provided protection, banks provided protection, and monarchies provided protection. Now the umbrella becomes a visual shorthand for all of them. So many people notice visual similarities between umbrella style logos and historical cross designs. Why? Because both are built around the same geometry: a central point with balanced arms and protective symmetry. Historically, crosses, shields, and heraldic emblems represented service, authority, protection, and stewardship. The umbrella carries a similar symbolic function. So let us bring it back to Rihanna. Years after the umbrella became one of the defining songs of her career, she appeared at the Met Gala in a look many viewers compared to Mary Poppins. Whether intentional or not, the visual echo was unmistakable. The oversized hat, the elegant silhouette, the poised posture, the pregnant belly. Even though Mary Poppins was not pregnant, it's still showing a feminine being with child. The world's most famous umbrella singer is suddenly resembling the world's most famous umbrella carrier. The connection almost makes itself because Mary Poppins protected the Banks family. Rihanna became a symbol for Barbados. One served a household, the other became a national icon, yet both are connected through the same symbol: the umbrella. And perhaps that's why the symbolism never disappears. Civilizations change, governments change, and currency changes. Empires rise and fall, but the question remains the same: how do we protect what matters? How do we preserve value through uncertainty? How do we create continuity through the storm? The answer keeps appearing in different forms, whether it be a crown, a bank, a corporation, or a kingdom, but specifically an umbrella. Mary Poppins carried one, the Banks family lived beneath one, the crown represented one, the Knights Templar built one, Wall Street operates through one, and Rihanna sang about one. Jay-Z connects this song to the Dow Jones, and Barbados elevated a woman associated with the umbrella into one of the highest national honors. We have different eras and institutions, but the same archetype. The umbrella was not merely meant as protection from the rain, it was a symbol of the structures humanity creates when it wants something to survive the storm. And once you see that pattern, you start noticing umbrellas everywhere.